Okay, I want to run through this estimator, which helps to, well, estimate the materials for a foundation. So you can see that, let's uh, run through this really one by one here. So we'll start with this. So you put in the orange cells are the input. So you input, say, the cost of the concrete, dollar per cubic yard. Then you put in these are just whatever you call your items. Then you put in a description. You can change all these to whatever you want, but then you just put in your assumptions for each one, or your measurements for each one. So your length. Let's go over here and look at what those. So I've got a quick little diagram here. So here's your length, here's your width, here's the thickness of the concrete. Okay, and then so that's what this is talking about here: the length, the width, and the thickness of the concrete. So you just put those in, and this is in feet, this is in feet, this is in inches. Then you put in your long rebar number, so you can choose out of, these are the choices here, but you can add to that if you need to. Just go down to the rebar tab. I don't think you can see it on the video, but there's a tab down here that says rebar. You just click on that and add whatever else you want to in here, any other assumptions for any other sizes or anything like that. So again, the orange cells are the input, so you just put in the description here of what you're putting in. You put in your nominal diameter and the price per foot for that rebar, and then this will just calculate the area and the weight. And then, so then once that's in there, you can just select, again, whatever you want. These are all imperial US sizes here. Then you can put in your spacing. So for example, if I go over here, you can see SL, which is here. So this is your long rebar spacing, and that's in inches, and that's on center. And so that's where you input that here. And then you do the similar thing for the short rebar. So you just select the number, comes from the same chart, and then you put in the spacing here, and you can see the little SS right there. So S, if we come over here, you can see the SS right here. So that's just talking about the spacing between these rebar here. And then pretty much everything else after that is calculated. So the concrete, it'll calculate your concrete volume here in cubic yards. Then it'll give you a price for those. Then it'll give you the length of each of your it'll give you the number of long rods that you have, the number of short rods that you have. And when I say the number, like, so for example, the number of short rods here in this would be 1, 2, 3. I just stopped it at 3, but it would just keep on going. So, but you can see 3 rods here, and if the spacing and the width and the length was such that it would give you 3, then that's what it's talking about, the number of rods that you have. That's what this is coming up with here. And then this tells you the total length of your long rod. It's just taking the number of rods you have and multiplying it times your length there. And then similar for the short rod length. And then you'll get a pricing for your long rods total based on the pricing that you input over here on the rebar tab. And then similar for the short rod pricing, then it'll add up those total costs for each line item there. Then okay, so that's your rebar. So now for these miscellaneous items, I put in one example of what you can do there. So like for your foundation bolts, you can just put those in and then say how many. In this case, I put in, say, 95 bolts, and then just say what the price is per item, and it'll give you a total price there for your miscellaneous item. And like I want to also show, if you wanted to say add another slab in, just say here, just copy it here, paste it there. And then you say, well, okay, for this one, it's going to be 20 feet long, and it's going to be, 15 feet wide. You can see all the numbers updating as I go, and then it's going to be a 6-inch, and say, oh, I'm going to have number 5 rod at a 4-inch spacing on center, and I'm going to have 4-inch. Excuse me, I'm a number 4 with a 3-inch spacing. You know, you can put all those numbers in, and you can see it's just going to add in those in there. So it'll, you know, you can see you got 5.56 cubic yards of concrete for that. Here's the price of that material for the concrete based on what you said each cubic yard costs, and then the number of long rods you have, number of short rods, total length of your long rod and short rods, and the cost for those based on whatever you put in for your pricing for your rebar in here. It's just pulling those numbers and multiplying them out, and then you can see it went ahead and put the new amount of total money in here for this price here is adding up your concrete, rebar, and the miscellaneous cost for this line item here, and add it right here, and you can get your total cost right here for all these items in this column here. So that's what that is. Let's see if there's anything else I need to cover. You've already seen the diagram. Yeah, so anyway, this is a worksheet to help you to create a MTO, or a material takeoff, for your foundation, and focused, you know, mainly on a housing project. But okay, so but hopefully you found this helpful.